Thank you very much, Tom. It's such a pleasure to have you on the Happy Mind Project. As a young grommet, your posters were plastered all over my wall, so it was. And I used to always draw your board logos and stuff and the designs and so on. So it's awesome to have and to share this experience with you today. As I said, being one of my surfing heroes, to chat to you today about your journey on the Happy Mind Project, about, I guess, how you've come from, being a world champion athlete and peak performance human being to the trials and tribulations of humanity, and I guess the darknesses that we can all experience, to arriving at a place where you're now going to be teaching beautiful practices such as meditation, which it's
crazy idea.
Yeah. Did you ever, I guess, just to start with a really random question, would you have ever in your wildest dreams imagined 20 years ago that you'd be a meditation teacher?
No. You know what? It's so funny, life, like, we think we can plan stuff. Well, we can sort of suggest a plan and lay down all these plans, and actually be able to send someone to the moon. There's a lot of planning. To get someone on the surface of the moon, there's a lot of planning and incredible but if I could say, if I go back, even that astronaut wouldn't know when he was a kid that, okay, I'm going to be on the moon one day. That's where I want to go to the moon. You might say I want to go to the moon, but what? So, when I was a kid, if I said, I'm going to be a drug addict, world champion surfer, meditation teacher guy with a whole lot of other things going on in the background, I couldn't pull it off. There's no way.
Where's the roadmap to that one?
No, there it is. And you know what? I don't know. It's just amazing. And I would have never thought that I would be in this place right now. I'm still sort of getting over the line with it. But in essence, being able to give people one of the most extraordinary tools for life, like by far the most valuable tool I've ever had, to be able to offer that up to people, to have, when they're open to it and it all starts to move, and man, there's no better tool for life. Living an integrated life. It's incredible. And I would have never thought it would have been so simple, because our kind of crazy complex mind, and its thoughts, what a circus.
Isn't it? And it's crazy to think that these things have been around for thousands of years, and they've for thousands, they're going, no, just do this, just go inside, just be quiet in your mind. And now, thankfully, science is going, this is what you do, this is how you do it, and stuff. So, when did you come to meditation, Tom?
So, well, I came to meditation. I was open to it through coming into recovery from drug addiction in 2006. Now, I think, that time when I was, brought to my knees, literally, in a very isolated space, using the same thing, trying to get us, a different result over and over, kind of not getting there anymore. It used to kind of work, but it's not working anymore. That kind of feeling, but still trying to get there, and everything else in my life disappearing as a result, and end up on your own in this space that's feeling so alone and isolated, and really brought to my knees with it. Not really at that time. I didn't really know it too, so I couldn't really see it. It's so crazy what was going on. But it was very, very, straight in my face. And once it was sort of realised that I was, because I felt so powerless I didn't know what to do. Everything in my addictive nature, my addictive kind of way, my being an addict, well, having it revealed to me in such a way that I'd gone all that way with it. And what it was taking from me consistently was taking things out of my life. It was just stripping me of all the good things, and I couldn't quite see it. So the window opened when I realised that there was I actually turned around and asked for help. That was the first thing. Like, I need help, really? I've been trying so long and over times, many, many times in the past, when I think I first was kind of pushed into help by my actions in 1991. So it wasn't until 2006 that I actually really brought to my knees, because you know how it is, corrective experiences, they come along, there's a tap on the shoulder and it goes, maybe, that's not a good idea, Tom. I got this, tap, 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 a little bit stronger. Tom, nah, not a good idea. I'm all right, I got this. Again, next one's a slap in the side of the head. Boom. Maybe I should, maybe. No, I've got it. And then another one. Next one's like a baseball bat over the head. Bam! So this is what was happening as I took the course of my own will that way. And then all of a sudden I had that opportunity when it was a proper kind of, like I said, brought to my knees, in the fetal position, crying mummy. And the window opens. I actually turn around, then I asked for help. Finally, thankfully, I hadn't lost a lot of my life yet. I haven't lost my mind yet. I was there. I was pretty much there, but, there was a way back. I could see that people around me loved me enough. There was a lot of love around me that I couldn't see just yet. But when it started to come to light, that was what was missing in myself. Even though I could see my beautiful daughters and beautiful wife and beautiful life, I was just going down this other path with myself that was blinding me from it. I could see them, but I was in deep shame, deep guilt, deep shame, all that stuff loaded up. Then getting an opportunity just for to drop the substances that were influencing my system in such a powerful way that I had no power over it anyway. And then there was some suggestions, maybe try this, maybe try that. We've got a proven way out here, Tom, if you want to take it. And it's just a suggestion, and this is the 12-step program of recovery. And I could see that the examples were in front of me. Many people with all this many, many years of recovery from addiction right there in front of me, and that seemed possible. That was the one little eye-opener. Oh, that's possible. Then I got some time in an institution, just a treatment centre, to stay away from the temptation. And in that treatment centre, there was someone, and I could read on the 11th step of the 12-step program that, and the 11th step, which is a bit of a way down the process, was that we sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with the God of your understanding, praying only for the knowledge of his will for me and the power to carry that out. So another humbling kind of the soul, of the self, to a power that's greater than ourselves. So, and that is very, very important for an addict who's been overcome so powerfully by the disease to actually, trust in a power that's greater than me, that there's actually a much greater source of, well, if you want to call it an energy, to access, if you're open to it. Once we get to access that, then there's an opportunity. And so when I read that, I go, oh God, maybe meditate. You know, it's pretty crazy still. I was still like, you know, because the sort of stuff that I like to put in my body is I want to get up there, I want to stay there.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I just love that feeling of being, you know, highly charged, adrenalized, and just really engaged and just going for it. Like, you know, that's what I love. And that was
his meditation.
and that's so cool. The coolest thing was that there was, you know, this person teaching meditation in the treatment center, but it was literally for us, it was like 2 minutes or something. I couldn't go any longer. It's like, no way. What do you mean I'm going to sit down for 2 minutes? So this guy got us doing it for 5 minutes and was literally just sitting there. I'll never forget doing it and sitting in there going and feeling that this was a possibility, that I could sit for 5 minutes. And I couldn't believe it. That was like a revelation for me. So that was kind of the start, and I gave myself a chance to. There was a guided meditation at the front counter. You could buy a few things in this treatment center, and that were related to recovery. And I saw that this they had a guided meditation disc. You couldn't have any music. You weren't allowed to have any music. Nothing in this place. You had to. It was pretty hardcore. You couldn't be stimulated by anything. It was a real like hardcore program. Abstinence, full tilt, no caffeine, no no sugar. It was no nicotine, no. It was very, very, very full on, which was good. 6 weeks, and during that period, I started to put myself. I knew how to put things into my life because I disciplined myself in the past to get really good at what I love doing, which was surfing, and get really good at it. So I actually wanted to place a certain discipline into. I knew this had to put it. I knew that this needed to be in my life every day. Like at some level, I just knew that I needed to work on whatever needed to be worked on. Recovery and the meditation was important to put that in every day. If I was going to chill this thing out, which was, gosh, it was what I was influenced by chemically, was rotating in my system and cells in my bloodstream, and my minds and my thought were just on fire, just really full tilt.
Were you always like that, Tom? Even as a young guy, like obviously in that space, like you know, you always seem from an outside perspective just to have ample, as you said, bucket loads of energy, just on
lots
fire.
of energy, lots of energy. And I'd say maybe if there was a diagnosis going on at that time, I may have been ADHD, and they call it a disorder, but I think it was an advantage for me. I did have difficulty in the school classroom attending to my schoolwork because my mind was outside. My mind was most definitely outside and always looking to outside and distracted. So, and that's how my mind worked. It was just naturally. And once I was outside doing things, I was fully engaged and I felt fantastic. But sitting inside was tricky. Reading a book was difficult. Reading was, my brother could read a book from the age 5. I was just like, what do you read? How do you read a page of this? I was like, how do I sit down and read a page? Which slowly came, but took a long time for me to get to read a book. But inside that treatment center, I got myself into a rhythm of doing this. First thing, get up. Before I was getting myself up before everyone, before being able to go for a walk along the beach, which I made sure that I was there for because that was my connection to the ocean. We weren't allowed to go swimming, but we were allowed to walk along the shore. And I was like, just needed to touch the ocean every day. And that became really important. But I never forget putting the meditation, guided meditation in my practice in the morning. And that's when And then I came out of that treatment center, kept that going. Then I went on to the Sound of Tibetan Bowls going, and I just let that one go for as long as the guided meditation was 17 minutes long. And then the Tibetan Bowls, I just let that go on and repeat for as long as it felt necessary. And I just started to attend. Then I got some guidance from some friends who are Tibetan Buddhist style meditation using the breath. And so they were guiding me into my breath. Those friends were fantastic, many years of recovery. And so these guys just seemed to have something I wanted, which was a very calm and the ability to listen. I had the ability to listen, which I just didn't have. I couldn't hear because I was hearing too much of myself.
And do you think that was part of also the drugs, was to try and slow that voice down a little bit, or not make it so dominant?
I think I was just trying to escape myself. I think most of all, I don't think I really was a big sufferer of that kind of condition. I was more one that really liked the idea of fantasy and wanted to escape myself and not really be inside my body. I wanted to be outside my body. I think that was a really big one for me. And
did you recognize?
Yes, yeah, Carly.
Sorry, did you recognize that as pain or suffering from any experiences you'd had earlier in life? Did you recognize that you were trying to escape all that time?
I'd say, yeah. Well, I lost my mother I watched my mother pass away when I was 6. Yeah. So she slowly passed away from pancreatic cancer, and it sort of went on to kind of lung cancer. Well, she had a lot of complications, and I didn't know what was going on. At 6 years old, you just don't know. You're just not really emotional part of your brain. Everything's not sort of set up yet to really process what's going on emotionally. So by the time I was 7, when she did pass away, because it took about a year of going to visit her in hospital and all that sort of in and out, I didn't know what was going on for myself. I was really I just didn't understand, when I look back on it today, what was going on for myself. So I give it the sun. Sorry. And I didn't really understand what was going on. I was quite young, and yeah, whereas my brother and my sister, they could have understood it much better than what I was able to process those emotions. I didn't understand. I pretty much took it. Was so when I came into recovery, that all came to the surface. It was quite a profound experience, but that, because I was trying to run away from all this stuff, and I didn't have. At some level, I was still 7 years old, so I had to go. Going through all that sort of discovery tour within myself was quite an extraordinary experience, and to come to terms with it, come to look at how it affected me as a child at a time I can't really touch. I can't really go inside and change that. I can't. There's nothing I can really do to. There's nothing on the outside that I can do, and I can't even really go back in there and really, intellectually, that we can't intellectually go in there and touch it, and start to do anything on an intellectual basis. So it's pretty much in there, feeling. What are those feelings? So it's a very tricky world.
Do you think that the loss of your mother gave you determination and the drive?
Definitely the searcher. The searching, the inquirer in me was very strong. So there's something deep going on here that I don't understand. Something much deeper. I think the cool thing is, the really amazing thing is, and it was brought to my attention by someone. You know, it's always cool someone sort of come along who hears something about what's going on, and then they point to something, and this person really hit on something for me one day. It brought me to tears, still brings me to tears. That I never forget that Christmas. It was the last Christmas my mum was here, our mother, and she was brought home for that Christmas. She wanted to come home and spend that Christmas with us and out of hospital. And she came, and there was a rumour going around the house that there was a surfboard that was going to be given out for Christmas. And I assumed, that's going to go to Nick because he always gets something first, and I always get the sort of, I get to use it afterwards. And that was always the case. And it was assumed by me. At that time, I thought, I'll get something else, and da-da-da-da-da. But lo and behold, Christmas morning came. We went into the bedroom. There's Mum and Dad in the bed. Mum was in bed. And we're all in the bedroom. My sister, my older sister, Josephine, who was 5 years older than me. Nick was in the middle at 2.5 years older. And I'm the youngest, sort of jumping around, frothing, It's Christmas Day. But I don't care. Nick's going to get the surfboard, da-da-da. I'm going to get something. I'm kind of excited anyway. And Nick gets books. And I go, I might go and popping off my mind. And lo and behold, my mum pulls out from underneath the bed a surfboard and gives me a surfboard. Now I kind of go, this person goes to me, many, many, many years later. This is probably about 10 years ago now. He's 11 years ago, 10 or 11 years. He goes, maybe, about 10 years ago now. He goes, listen, Tom, look at what happened here, and I still hadn't clicked. So I'm just about to turn 50 years old. It still hadn't clicked. He's going to look at the gift that was given to you, and you're still being held by her. That your mum gave you the surfboard, and you went out into the ocean, and the ocean and the surfboard's held you ever since.
Beautiful.
So that, it brings me to tears because that still holds me today. It's not, and that gift, that's sort of like that. There's something a lot deeper going on, a lot greater, a lot bigger than me, and it was so evident, so powerful, and it's a love that's extraordinarily ever kind of present, and I can't, and I can go out and enjoy it today. I can give it to other people. I can share it with other people, and it's given me this incredible life. So I can't. When I explain it that way, and it's displayed to me that way, it's beyond words for me. So, but I know that it's just love. That's all it is. It's just bulging. The universe is bulging with it. So I can't not sort of recognize it now, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I've got a chance to share that. So I'll keep coming to it. And it's lovely to be able to share it now with you guys. Yeah.
How brave you are, Tom, and to stay open-hearted through this journey, that you've had. And you've done some pretty incredible things and been pretty damn brave in your life, but I'm not sure that there's anything more brave than that turning point of, a huge change and coming to your knees and deciding to, leave that pain and suffering that I guess you were running from, even when you were so successful and still are, but at that time in your life. And to...
Yeah. Well, I had, one thing, I just sorry to, I had particularly three things, which was my daughters looking at me. and how and the kind of blaring, kind of obvious stuff going on there which I couldn't see even in the grip of addiction, full-blown drug addiction. Drug addiction will tell you that your daughters are in the way, that your daughters, these beautiful children who will suffer as a result of losing their father, that they are in the way. Get out of my way because I want to go and use drugs. You know, I can kind of laugh about it now, but it's insane. It's a real, you know. So they were there. Lo and behold, they're all girls. You know, I lost my mother, then I lost my sister in a car accident, and then I lost my grandmother later. She was the last one to go. But they all had an incredible influence on me. And then I had these 3 beautiful daughters in front of me saying, here I am, Dad, you know? So I think I was just, yeah, anyway, kind of another big reason why to stand back into life and the challenges that presents it on a daily basis.
So do you see it as almost a gift now, Tom, from where you've arrived at, you know, those dark days, and part of that, you know, as you said, coming back to that roadmap that we can't predict, that all those things as your mum and the surfboard and then on your knees and here's meditation and all these things that can help and cultivate back to that stage, to that great gift. Do you look even at those dark periods now as a really pivotal, powerful part of your journey?
Absolutely. It's no doubt about it. And, you know, like, I think meditation's taught me how fickle the mind is. So, and how, you know, and actually the whole journey of recovery and helping people come into recovery and sharing the message shows how vulnerable we are, like how fickle we are if we're mind identified by, not mind identified, but identified with the thought, you know, the first thought particularly. So it's like it's been a huge gift for me to get, to actually be handed the opportunity to, you know, to bring this forward. Even though there's a big part of me, you know, there's a part of me that goes, oh, look, just going, you know, do you really need to do this? You know, like, it's like, it's you know, I'm like, I know that there's, you know, I get caught by the shiny signs, you know, the ones that are shiny and bright and got neon lights, you know, I get caught by them. And the rusty kind of old ones hanging off the corner, which tell you to actually go, no, this is the way to go, Tom. They're still kind of sometimes hard to see, you know.
Those old pathways, they die hard,
yeah,
don't they? The old patterns.
Yeah.
And it seems to be funny, doesn't it? Like, I don't know, like even from my own observations of myself and my characters, we all know our stories pretty well, that the more tired or less energy I have, they just seem to raise right up. Those old pathways just go that easy path. The more energy I've got, it's like, no way. But the minute tired or fatigued or sick, it's just like, hey, look over here, come back. You know?
Yeah.
And I guess also, Tom, with that, you mentioned addiction, but I guess it's also there's so many people that experience that they might not be having mental addictions and stuff, but still that fickleness of their mind from anxiety, stress, and depression. And I've got an analogy that in today's day and age, we're all like, we look after the car better than ever. Most of us are fitter because we've got this CrossFit, Park Fit, you name it. So much great access to fitness, nutrition. Yet still we've got epidemic levels of anxiety, stress, and depression just rife through society. So do you, again, not only working with people with addictive patterns, but I guess there's also the addiction to that stories and those narratives that meditation also helps, not just on those, I guess, chemical addictions, but those mental addictions that we're all running. What other things do you do, Tom, like to cultivate, I guess, you know, that positivity that you seem to emanate on a day-to-day basis?
Um, well, I think, well, I just, the meditation's really the touchstone. Like, it really kind of keeps things light for me. I think the light-heartedness. I think exercise, particularly, just putting good food in. I think when I'm definitely engaged in challenging myself to do something new, like learning something that's a challenge, like, you know, putting the mind to work, putting the body to work with the mind. So putting something in that's going to challenge the body to kind of respond. Like, thankfully, we've got the ocean really close to us. So it's whether it's the ocean. Also, pushing myself a little bit physically tends to, if it's, say, a training session, physical training session, I like to do like a swim squad with my brother, which he's like mad competitive guy. So that always, I don't think I'm naturally a very, I can bite on the competitive part of me from the competitive part of myself, but I'm not 24/7 competitive person. But when I get in a swim squad, and I kind of I use that as a sort of a physical connection to the mind, because the mind doesn't really want to do it. It's like, my mind will try to excuse itself out of it. I notice that. Anything that in those sort of ways that I recognize that if I'm trying to excuse myself away from doing something that I know that's good for me, I kind of like to challenge my mind, to challenge myself to go beyond myself, to move beyond that. So anything, not to go too heavy on that, but just to lightly touch on something each day that will do that for me, or I put myself in. And sometimes even that might be even just doing a task at home, like even might be little things, too. So anything like that. I'd like to stay in contact with people and sort of check in with people and see how they're doing, that are, close to me, and also new people that are within my sphere, so that are kind of, that I, just sort of start to create new connections in that area, but also make sure that I make contact with people that I love dearly, on a very regular basis. So sort of connections for me are human connection, and then connection with nature, combinations that are really dear to me and very important.
So is there any books or anything? What other than meditation? Is there anything, now that you've managed to read more than a page? Is there anything that's anything that's really, again, struck a nerve as something which is is resonated, that you encourage or you give others to read or to share, or other than meditation?
Well, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts lately.
What's your top ones?
I like the Rich Roll podcast. That's a good one.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I really like listening to him. I like the Joe Rogan podcast too. He's pretty, he kind of probably talks to more diverse humans than in a very direct way. Then I know, I can't imagine another person actually having, coming into contact with a more diverse amount of humans. So, and he's very kind of straight up about how he approaches them, which I really like. Podcasts. I do like listening to Tom Knowles' podcast, The Vedic Worldview. I think he's got a lovely take on, I love hearing his take. Books. Let me see. I haven't really. You know what? It's funny. I haven't really read a book for a while. I've read bits of books. Back on the bits of books, parts of books. I've been loving, The Power of Now, which is, you'll always go back to that book. Like it's Eckhart Tolle's been such a strong idea. I actually didn't pick him up for a while. It's only just recently I started to pick him up again. So his stuff and Rupert Spirit's, like, I love his work and his observations and all his way.
I was going to ask you about Eckhart Tolle and if
yeah, sure.
His chapters, which he talks so much about, and I often go to and just read the specific chapters on the pain body.
Yeah.
I love how he explains that. I think it's wonderful for so many people to connect with, and understand, and also dive into with children. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It's amazing that when I read about that, I was back when I started looking at that Toll, which when I first come into recovery, exposed to this beautiful work, the pain body, and then actually now sort of seeing where it is for me, and then actually seeing it sort of for what it is.
Yeah.
Just as an observation, just having that opportunity. He's brought that opportunity so beautifully into the world. It's like it's powerful work. Probably for me, Eckhart Tolle's that little book.
Yeah,
it's been the most powerful. Yeah.
And so simple too, hey? Well, the beauty of it, and seems to be a common thread that I like the things that I can go, that's so easy. Wow, it seems too simple, too easy.
It's that's too simple. Like, that's bullshit. It can't be that. I got friends like that, and I go, no, you can just see, How you going with that? But
and so where are you at? Because you're nearly qualified to be a teacher of the Vedic technique. Is that correct? Yeah. Awesome.
I'm very, very tip of the ice. I'm right there, scratching it. So I'm just sniffing the finishing line, or the next level, kind of going to the next level line, and that is actually bringing people in to teach. So, so I'm quite kind of nervous about it. I'm really, I'm kind of one of those perfectionists who it's got to be all just, I've got to have it really perfect. I've got to be really high level, So yeah, that's a very strong message in my system, but it's not the case, right? So
surrender. Is that something you do challenge with, Tom? Like, is that, obviously from where you've achieved that, that nature kind of just goes, no, let go. It's be effortless. Is that something which has been a challenge, just to go, oh my God, I can sometimes just let go of that.
Yeah, that's it. And when I do, and I just let myself be the kind of channel, rather than like kind of, this is, structuring and organizing in my mind for it to be just right the way I think. The effort that takes is extraordinary. So yeah, and it's just me being It's been just getting a few people over the line. I think I'll start it'll all just start happening for me. But it's just, I've just got to have each of those things down right. I've got the puja down. I've got I've got all the stages there. So it's just I've still got a few. I think I've got 2 weeks basically. Two within June. Should be open to.
No, it's so exciting.
Teach. Yeah. And you guys know your own process, what that was like.
I think it's something, isn't it, that we all, there's something that's drawn us to this for whatever that reason, be it our own dark nights, and then we come through this to this beautiful simplicity of, oh my God, this is what it can feel like to be a thriving human being with an enlivened nervous system. And then when we get to share that, it's and it's something that, as you said, I just love being that fact that we're just the hollow reed for this thing that's been around for thousands of years to pass through. It's so freaking cool. It's like,
I like the way you said that, hollow reed.
Yeah,
so for it to pass through.
So we're not. So remove the ego that we're just. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's just been so powerful.
Yeah, and the need's right there. So, and there's been a lot of need.
Yeah.
People are coming. So, okay, I'm ready. Okay, so you put your hand up. Okay, my hand's up.
Yeah. It's funny. I spoke to a friend, but he saw that I'd put a little post on my Insta saying I'm so stoked to be talking to Tom tomorrow, and he's actually been tapping. He goes for the last 60 days. I've been tapping in with Tom, and
that's so cool.
Yeah, I think he's even got one of his boards emulated off yours. He's a character, and he's full on. He's got so much energy. He goes, I've just been meditating 60 days with Tom. I'm going, dude, that is freaking awesome. So
that's so good.
You're doing amazing stuff to get those seeds out there and to start, it's going to be.
It's had such cool stories come out of that, and I'm doing it 3 times a week now. So I do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I'll just stick to that. So people and I'm trying to get people to just practice on their own on that 10 minutes breath based stage 1 meditation. That's what I call it. I actually got that from Tim Brown, who's a teacher.
Yeah.
And he put it down as stage 1. I thought, I'll use that. Stage 1 feels good. Gave people an understanding of that. And so it's just a 10-minute thing. So it's accessible. And it's been really cool having people from all over the place. Had people from Alberta, Canada, from Vancouver, Canada, from Spain, the Basque Country, to the UK, to Brazil, to Florida, to Indiana. A doctor who was right on the front line with the COVID-19, N95 mask, the whole, stress to the max. Just saw my meditation. And he's just coming to me, thank you so much. I'm going, wow, how's that? That touched this person who's right on the front line. So I had to get a Zoom call with that guy. I said, I'll get on a Zoom call. Let's chat about what you need and stuff and what you're, and we got to chat for 40 minutes on a Zoom call. And just to see his face and just to see the response from that, which was just at that point, I started off with 5 minutes, and he'd never meditated before, and he was getting result.
And it's so cool, isn't it? And you just see, it's just what the nervous system just sings out for. And once they get that little taste, it's not some esoteric. It's not something. It's basically what our bodies and our beings just go, give me that stuff. But yet the ego mind just derails it, thinking it's something, it's beyond this or that. I can't quite my mind.
It's woo-woo.
It's woo-woo.
Like woo-woo. Wow, I'm going, some people really want that. Wow, I'm out there. I'm having these experiences. I'm like seeing shit. I'm like,
I forget that. What does that mean? I'm having these colours and I'm having this. What's that mean? I go, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's in your mind, man. Doesn't matter.
You're doing good. Yeah.
Did you feel relaxed after? That's the main thing.
Yeah. Feeling really relaxed.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Tom, I'm sure you're going to be an absolutely amazing teacher, and people, how can they tune into your? You said you're doing those 3 days a week. What times, and how can they jump on and join you?
Okay, if you've got Instagram, just come to I'm Thomas Victor Carroll at Thomas Victor Carroll. That's ThomasVictor Carroll CARRL on Instagram, and I'll be running a live Instagram meditation, 10-minute meditation from. I meet up at about 5:50 a.m. Chat people, talk to people a little bit, pull people in, and then we start right on 6 a.m. and we go to 6:10 a.m. So that's just, and then we'll have a little chat after it. I'll have a little talk about things after the experience, and I'll do that Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So that's each week. We'll do that for a couple of weeks now, and we'll see where that leads us. I will still keep going with the live Instagram meditations because it seems to be touching a lot of people right at this time. And I'm getting great feedback, and you can also DM me through that and ask some questions, and I'll just keep it super simple that way.
And then you've got an upcoming retreat, Tom. Is there a bar retreat planned? Is that a meditation retreat?
Yeah, so we were having it in June, on June 21 to June 28 at the Uluwatu Villas in the Bukit in Bali. That week has been postponed till next year. So the same dates in 2021, and same dates 21 June to 28th of June. That's 1 week. I'll be giving the mantras out in that week, and there's already at the moment people have rebooked for next year that were on this. There's 15 people already booked in. I think there's still some spaces available there. You have to get on to uluwatusurfvillas.com and inquire through. You can go to events on their webpage and scroll down to Tom Carroll retreat. And so we're doing one there. And also next year, we're still setting dates, but in September, it will probably be one of the 2 midweeks of September, and that's over in North Carolina in the Outer Banks at Real Water Sports. It's a big, they do all kinds of different types of water sports out of this. We've got a really nice accommodation and convention center. Really nice, not a big one, just a nice, but it's on the Outer Banks. So if you're in contact with anyone there on the east coast of the US, or someone wants to come to that, we'll be able to check in on the Real Water Sports, REAL watersports.com, and they'll have an events scroll down, and we'll be running a 5-day retreat there too. So next year in 2021, and I'm looking to start develop a retreat hopefully in November this year. We haven't got dates yet done, and it's still in the sort of the seeds being planted. We've got a facility down there called Oaks Ranch down on the south coast of New South Wales, just south of Bateman's Bay. So this is another venue I'd really like to start to develop. Beautiful place, surfing. We've got golf there too. Other activities. Beautiful coastline, and also we'll be looking to give out the mantras and the Vedic technique there too.
I'd be keen for that one. I'd love to.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place down there. We're really, really lucky. Got a great venue. So we actually, at the moment, it's closed, but we're after this everything gets lifted. But we're working towards a November date for that.
Beautiful.
And so tell me, Tom, now with your fully established meditation practice, has it chilled you out at all in the lineup?
Sorry, has it
Chilled
has
you
it
out at
chilled me?
all in the lineup?
Maybe, but no, I'd still, when there's a really good wave coming through, there's something so sacred about a wave. Like, this wave's coming through that gets my juices flowing. And when I see that piece of energy in the ocean, and I know the bathymetry, I know that I sense and feel what's going to happen with this wave and what I can kind of engage with it, man, everything's moving for me at that point. It really, it really tickles me deep down inside, and it's a sacred thing. I really feel that that's a real gift from nature. That vibration, that piece of energy moving through the ocean, and it still gets me going, like, especially with this last big swell of event. It's big waves still kind of pull me in.
So you got some bombs?
I got some beauties. Yeah, I got some beauties on last Saturday out off Long Reef.
Awesome.
Got some beauties. Yeah. Mm.
Well, man, it's been awesome to chat, and super inspiring to see where you've arrived at, and the fact that you're touching so many people so early on in your teaching days, and I have no doubt that you're going to spread the light, and keep giving that great energy out like the ocean, and keep going, keep sharing.
Yeah, keep it going. We want to be happy and healthy.
That's it.
It's all there.
Yeah,
all there on offer.
Legend. Well, mate, thanks so much for tapping in and joining us on the Happy Mind Project, and really look forward to watching your journey unfold even further.
Pleasure. I really appreciate you guys letting me come on.
Thanks so much, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, guys.
Legend.
Take care.
Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, you too. All right, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.